Bearcats fans, what's going on? This is Justin Summers and Neil Meyer with the front office news, giving you your daily recap here from historic Nippert Stadium. The Bearcats win a tough one against Navy, final score of 20-10. Bearcats got back on track here today after a tough loss on the road to UCF. Neil, what did you all see out there today?
Obviously, the main thing that came into this game was Navy loves the triple option, and they ran the ball literally almost 56 times, I believe was the number, and they only passed the ball 6 times all game. So that was something to expect coming into a team like Navy as they established that triple option. But overall, I think the defensive line really held their ground. Obviously, getting Jabari Taylor back was huge after he missed the UCF game due to an injury. So having Jabari Taylor back was huge for the Bearcats, obviously, and then the performance of Dante Corleone today was something that really stood out to all of us. Corleone had a career-high 11 tackles, and he had 2 tackles for loss, I believe, in that process. But another thing that stood out to me, as we saw here tonight, was the continued dominance from linebacker Ivan Pace. Ivan finished with another 14-tackle night, 2 tackles for loss, as he continues to lead the NCAA in tackles and tackles for loss. So overall, I think the Bearcats defense tonight really dominated up front. But obviously, I think Ben Bryan really also settled back in offensively after kind of struggling in a down performance at UCF last week, as the offense had that slow start. But overall, I think the offense really came out and clicked tonight. Obviously, they left a few points out on the field, but overall, I think it was a dominant performance tonight.
Oh yeah, Neil, definitely. I'm going to hit on your second part here about the offense. I think really getting back Tyler Scott at fully healthy, last week, obviously, he came back, but, he said at points it was hard to run some routes due to the situations he was put in. Today, he said it felt a lot better. You saw that on the field today. Tyler finished with, I think, 10 catches, 122 yards on the day.
139 and 2 touchdowns.
139 and 2 touchdowns on the day. I mean, he was the main difference here. I mean, I got to give praise to Navy. Obviously they got a tough run defense, but they played the passing game really well today also. It was hard for the Bearcats. They didn't have the ball a lot on offense with Navy running the ball. I know Navy had a couple of drives. One drive ran for 9 minutes. They had a couple of drives that ran, well over 6 minutes. And Bearcats, when they got the ball, they put points on the board, but, Navy did really good in the red zone and were able to shut them down. But overall, like I said, a great job by Ben. Threw for 299 yards today. Like I said, a lot of it was to Tyler. He got, tight ends going late in the game. And, just overall, like Neil said, the defense is pretty much what won you this game. The defense being able to shut down that triple option offense. They played really well today. And if you're going to have, Dante Corleone, Jawan Briggs, and Jabari Taylor in that middle, I mean, I don't see a team that can run against them with that big 3 right there. And just like Neil also brought up, the linebackers today, Ivan Pace played well. Deshaun had a pretty good game also. Ty Van Vossen, you get Will Huber in there. There's a bunch of playmakers on this defense. And overall, you get all those guys involved. And it's going to be hard for teams to win. Bearcats get a little flustered last week, but overall, coming back at historic Nippert, and all of a sudden they get right back on track, and it looks like the same Bearcats that we've been seeing the last couple of years. So, yeah.
And the Bearcats really came back, obviously, as Justin elaborated on Ben Bryan's performance. Ben completed almost 72% of his passes, roughly, if you did the math correctly, roughly. And to come back, settle in, have a performance like that was huge for the Bearcats. That's what they needed tonight. Obviously, yeah, it was just a 20-10 game. It was a quicker game, quick, fast-paced game. It was closer than a lot of people anticipated. But, however, the Bearcats bounced back in the win column. And as Luke Fickell mentioned last week at UCF in the pressers, he was really going to be curious about how the senior-oriented group of guys would come back and get this team and see how they would respond after a tough loss at UCF and get back in the win column. So for them to do that tonight was huge for this team, as they now make it 31 victories straight here at Nippert Stadium. But obviously it's now a quick turnaround, as we have Nip at night this Friday night. So it's a quick, short week for the Bearcats. Obviously it's one of the most historic times in UC football history is Nip at night. So obviously the Bearcats will be back in action this Friday night. I believe kickoff is set for 7 p.m. this Friday.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. kickoff this Friday night. So make sure you guys continue to check out the front office news, and the Bearcats will be back in action this Friday night at 8 p.m. So versus ECU, and that's a very good ECU team. Obviously, they just came off a victory versus UCF 2 weeks ago. So, and they're coming off a bye week, so they now have a big victory 14 days off all to prepare for this matchup. So it'll be a good sight to see. And this is Neil Meyer with the Front Office News.
And Joseph Summers with his Front Office News, and we are signing out.